Rebecca at RM Cecilia, not an easy name to say when you've got a colossal lisp like mine, asks, do you think the only way one lives forever is if you have children? That, Rebecca, is a very, very deep question, and I'm probably not in any way qualified to talk about that. But I'll have a go. To live forever if you have children. Now, I think you're probably leaning towards something spiritual with that question, because mainstream science says that when you have children, when you reproduce, you pass on some of your genetic data to your offspring, and they do the same to theirs. But that's a kind of boring sciencey answer. I don't really think that's what you're hinting at when you say, is it possible for one to live forever? You're talking about you living forever. So who are you? What is you, if you know what I mean? You are more than just bits of genes, aren't you, that get passed on to your kids. I think the answer that you may be looking for, I'm hopefully assuming correctly, is more in the realm of the spiritual arena. And obviously there are people like Deepak Chopra, who are very famous guys who sort of talk about this universal life force and energy, a Tao, I guess, if that's the same thing, as Taoism says. We're all vibrations tuned in to this universal source of energy, which is never ending because you can't destroy energy. And we're all just different frequencies, and you can tune yourself into that, or you can tune yourself away from it and live in an enclosed five senses reality. But that particular doctrine says that we all do live forever anyway, and that your human life that you have is just a very short-term, temporary experience that everlasting spirit is having through its human form, just for that period of time. It's just a spirit having a human experience. So many people would say, and it's a very popular theory that's been around for a long time, many people would say that you will live forever, that you do live forever. If you don't really subscribe to the sort of spiritual aspect of that, there is another way that people live forever, or at least for a very long time after their death anyway. And I think that is through what you leave behind, your legacy. Jesus Christ. I'm an atheist, as I said earlier. I'm not even convinced that anyone like Jesus Christ even actually existed. But let's use that as an example. If Jesus did exist, and he did do the things that we attribute to him, then, and we're still talking about him now, 2,000 years after, you know what I mean? So there are other ways for you to live way beyond after you've died, after you've left this earth. There are many other ways, and I think that is a very real way that you can live forever, or at least for a long time, and it's a very constructive, positive way, which is not so much focused on the fear of death and I want to live forever, less of an ego thing, and it's more of something that is constructive and left behind for the world, or the community, or even an individual. It's the good things that you can do, the change that you can make, whether it's little or small, while you're here, and what you can leave behind. And I think of the people that have changed my life, and they're the people I've never met. Like just talking in banal musical terms, somebody like Frank Zappa changed my life as a musician. Never met the guy, he was dead by the time I got into him, And there are those things. Gandhi, Martin Luther King, look at the things these people have done for the human experience on this planet whilst they walked among us, They will be remembered for hundreds of years probably, So I think that's a kind of a cool way to live longer than your years, is to leave something behind that you've done, which is, good for others, a positive change that you've made whilst you were here. It doesn't have to be Martin Luther King or Gandhi. It can be the change you make to one person's life, So there's three answers: boring, sciencey, esoteric, airy-fairy, spiritual stuff, which can't be proven either way. You've just got to decide whether you like the sound of it or not. And kind of a constructive, positive, hippie kind of way. So take your pick. I don't know. I mean, there's probably lots more answers to that question, and I'm probably talking utter bollocks. But like I said, I'm kind of not really an expert on these things. I'd love to know what you think, and I'm guessing you've got an opinion on this too. So write back, leave a comment, or send me a video response, or tweet me, email me, whatever. Anyone else that's watching, I'd love to know what you think about that as well, because I guess that simple question opens up a whole other load of questions, which are all quite deep and heavy. So if anybody wants to get involved in that one, the question from Rebecca at RM Cecilia was, do you think the only way one lives forever is if you have children? I'd really love to hear what you guys think about that. Send us some comments. Thank you, Rebecca. My head's cooking now.